Today I'll be talking, giving an update. This is my third year in a row. This project has advanced as probably better than I thought it would. I wish we were a little further along on the drilling, but our results to date have been excellent. Forward-looking statements like everyone else. And as John mentioned, we have two other zinc assets that are deeply undervalued. They're great projects. Combined $130 million have been spent on these two. I'll touch a little bit on those at the end, but most of this talk is going to be about the Golden Crest deposit in South Dakota. Now, the Golden Crest deposit is just immediately west of the Homestake Wharf mining complex. And this was a forgotten district, I think, for many years. It was the largest underground mine the United States ever had. And it's a great big gold endowment, 68 million ounces if you can include production and what resources are left in the ground. Next to the Homestake mine is the Wharf mine, which is a collection of older mines, and that's over an 8 million ounce gold endowment. And finally, the Gilt Edge, which is plus 4 million ounces. The Solitario land position, essentially no exploration had ever been done on it in 140 years. It's hard to believe. We've taken a number of large companies here, and they say the same thing as we do. How was this missed for 140 years? That's a whole different topic. I won't go into it. But it's a 35,000 acre project, a number of mines here. I'll point to them. The Homestake mine is right here, 68 million. The Wharf mine is about 4 kilometers long and about 1 kilometer wide. And it's to the west of the Homestake mine, and to the east is the large Gilt Edge mine. Now, there's two ages of mineralization here. There's the old 2 billion year old Precambrian Homestake age mineralization, and there's a younger, 50 million years, if you want to consider that younger, 50 million year tertiary mineralization that's in limestones above the Precambrian. Early on in our exploration phase, from a project that had essentially never been drilled, never been explored, within the first 3 months, we were finding samples like this on the ground, truly spectacular. Up to 100, I think we had one sample, 200 grams per ton, lots of samples plus 30 grams. And of course, there's a lot of 1 gram and half gram out there, and barren rock, like any project. Well, that got us pretty interested. We had about 7 waves of staking. We went from 4,000 acres to 8,000 acres to 15 to 20, and we stand now at 35,000 acres. We've reported 8 of our drill holes in 2024. We still have 3 more to report. I hope to get those out in 2 to 3 weeks. We haven't received any of those assays yet. There's mineralization in 3 of the higher zones. They're limestones, and they're good grades and great targets. Below those 3 upper limestone zones is our main target, which is the Deadwood. And the Deadwood is where the Wharf mine was. It's the lower Deadwood, produced 8 million ounces, and it's an easy target to drill at. Like I said, it's 4 kilometers long and 1 kilometer wide. The mineralization we've discovered to date is open in all directions. This is the first 3 drill holes drilled from the same platform. Now we drilled underneath a very high-grade trench, which was 36 meters to 17 grams, and that's a real assay. That was in bedrock. What we saw underneath it was a fair bit less grade, but a lot thicker in terms of vertical dimension, 32 meters of 1.68 grams. Within that, we had a couple assays of plus 10 grams. So there is high grade within this zone. The next 2 holes, GC2 and GC3, they both hit about 30 meters of mineralization. GC2 hit 3 zones that are stacked real closely together that went anywhere from 0.5 gram to 1.9 grams. And GC3 was kind of the best hole in that group, 26 meters of 2.56 grams. And that's pretty much, we think, a true thickness. So a very good start. The first 3 drill holes on a 35,000 acre program, it's open in all directions. Now, The most interesting hole we had was the last one reported. It was called GC8. And in there, we hit mineralization in the lower Deadwood, which is where the 8 million ounce Wharf deposit is. No one's ever found gold outside of the Wharf area. So this is about 10 kilometers, 12 kilometers from it. It's a true discovery. It's big. 41 meters is a thick section of gold mineralization, averages 1 gram. What was interesting is the grade was getting better with depth. And you might say, well, why'd you stop the hole? We didn't really want to stop the hole. It kind of caved in on us, and we fought it for about 3 days, tried to keep drilling because the rock looked good, and in fact it was good. The last meter was 3.9 grams per ton. So this year, coming back in May, we're going to offset this hole. And what I like about it, it's in a structural zone that's 12 kilometers long. And when you see the Wharf, it looks like a dead ringer to that. The rocks look similar. The grade is similar because what you have at Wharf, you have high-grade vertical structures, lots of them, that produce over 3 million ounces, 1 ounce per ton. And then around that, you have lower grade mineralization in the 0.5 gram to 2.5 gram range. And that's exactly what we see here. Now, looking at the big picture, this is most of our, not the entire project, but most of it. And you'll see 2 general zones, this western zone and this eastern zone. Now, the first 3 holes I showed you was the downpour area. And this is 3 kilometers down here. So this is a big scale project. We drilled the next 3 or 4 holes in this area here where we don't have a lot of gold joy. We hit anomalous gold. We were interested in it, but we didn't hit things that really looked great. And the surface kind of reflected that. And we got over to this area here, and hole number 8 was drilled right against this red line, which is called the Fanny Peak monocline, which is a major structure that probably goes from the surface down 10 or 20 kilometers. We think this structure was important for the last 2 billion years in emplacing gold. And when you look at all the major gold districts in the world, they always have major deep structures in them. And you know, this area, the reason it wasn't found is we didn't have the old rocks anywhere. Those were the easy things that the old timers found. These rocks that we have on the surface, first of all, 99% of the surface is grass and forest covered, and you can't find any rocks. We took tens of thousands of soil samples on this, and that is what led us to all these discoveries. Zooming a little in, I'm going to zoom in. Let me see here. On the geyser zone. This is called the Ponderosa area. That's where we're going to be drilling in 2025. We didn't have a permit to drill there this year. We have 45 drill locations that are that we're going for permits. We think we're going to get them in time to start our drilling program in June of this year. You can see just from the colors, and the brighter the colors here, the more gold is in the rocks that we're showing. Compared to this area, you can see it's much stronger. It's also in a deeper formation. Just want to say, we think the best is yet to come on this project because we're getting into better areas. A couple slides on zinc. We have 2 zinc projects. One is joint ventured with Nexa Resources. That's the Florida Canyon project. The other is the Lick Zinc project, joint ventured with Teck. Florida Canyon has had close to 90 million ounces spent on it. We're carried to production, 3.5, 4 billion pounds of zinc defined, great grades, 10%. This will be a mine someday. Nexa continues to work on it. They're spending a couple $1 million every year. The interesting thing about this project is we're carried to production. We'll never have to invest another cent into this. And all we have to do is pay Nexa back the construction costs. Everything through feasibility we never pay back. They lend us money for construction. That's a view of that came from the PEA, the Lick Zinc project in Alaska. It's 11 miles from the largest zinc mine in the world, controlled by Teck. It's one of Teck's core assets. It has almost 6 billion pounds in all categories of zinc. It's 11 miles from the Red Dog deposit. And if you look at capital structure, one of the things I want to say, we have no warrants. We've never issued a warrant in 30 years. We only have 81.7 million shares outstanding. We've never had a reverse split. This company has been run with great integrity in terms of protecting the existing shareholder. There's very few companies that have been around 20 or 30, we've been around 30 years, with this kind of capital discipline. Management owns 8.4%. Newmont invested last year and has an 8.5% stake in the company. Zebra's Trust, which is a Lundin family trust, owns 4.8%, and a Canadian general fund owns 9.2%. That's EdgePoint. So catalyst for 2025 is drilling 4 high-quality targets on the Golden Crest, Ponderosa, offset drilling that good hole GC08 at Florida Canyon, and reinterpretation of the resource model, which I think it'll be positive, and new target identification at Lick. So with that, I'd like to thank you for your attention and have a good afternoon.